all those moments will be lost in time.
Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If I look more dead inside than I usually do, my dumbass drank last night, as in drank alcohol and then fell asleep before eating, so today I'm quite viciously hungover. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, ironically, I came across this case completely randomly. Well, not exactly. I was looking for another case and this was one of the first ones that was listed, and I was like, and it turns out it's super fucked up. So I was like, why would I deprive you from this extra, I want to say faith in humanity, but I feel like if you've been here long enough, that's been gone for a while, so I don't know. You pick what to call it. Cannibal teen tortured brother to death, impossible quote-unquote ritual. A teenage girl in Brazil confessed to torturing her 5-year-old brother to death before eating his severed penis, police said.
This is starting so badly. My hangover just got worse. Okay.
Police are investigating the possibility that 18-year-old Karina Roque, I don't know, alleged crime against her brother Mason, sorry for the butchering, may have been part of a black magic ritual because his body was found on the floor surrounded by several candles. On Thursday, the mother, who is not being named, discovered 18-year-old Karina standing beside her brother's mutilated remains at their home in southeast Brazil. Detectives said the victim's corpse had grotesque injuries, his head was partially decapitated, there were knife wounds to the wrist, both eyeballs had been pierced, the feet had been burned, and the sister claimed she had cut off her brother's genital organs and eaten it. What the fuck? I'm sorry, but really, what the fuck is this? I really hope that we find out why, like, what ritual is this? Like, what church? I don't know. Where did this come from? Okay, so torturing someone is wrong no matter how old they are, but I feel like it's especially disgusting when it's a child because they, for one, can't defend themselves, and for two, they didn't do anything to deserve that kind of treatment. So I just partially decapitated, both eyeballs were pierced, the feet had been burned. It sounds like before dying, this child was put through the worst of the worst. And the other thing that's obviously horrendous is having a family member, someone who you might not be close to, but you're close to in terms of blood. Also, total side note, but the picture they used doesn't do this girl any favors, and I'm not saying that, you know, to poke fun at the death of the brother, because it's not funny, but genuinely they chose a picture where she looks like Satan has entered her body. So that definitely wasn't a strategic choice. I see you, newspapers. According to the police, the mother went shopping and left her son in the care of the daughter while she was out. When she returned a couple of hours later, she discovered the front door locked. Karina reportedly refused to let her mother in. The desperate woman was only able to gain access after the door was kicked down by her brother-in-law, who lives nearby. What is always fascinating to me about crimes is when people have this relatively short time frame and you think about how they have to go into these pragmatic little details that almost seem ridiculous, you know what I mean? So like, think, her mom leaves the house, she's home alone, and she's like, okay, Siri, set timer to 4 hours because I have a murder to conduct and possibly a ritual. Like, that's such a weird thing to wrap your head around, that when someone is committing these disgusting crimes, there's really almost kind of like a timetable behind it where they have to get so and so done by time X. And it's just a weird thing to think about because it's just like the corruption of an everyday activity, right? Most people on a daily basis have a schedule of things to do and a time by when you want to be done with it. And it's just weird when I think about that when it's connected to crime. Essentially, what I really was trying to say is that it's very weird to see such a banal thing like timing being applied to something as gruesome as this, but I couldn't figure shit out because I was a hungover ass bitch. The horrific scene was so macabre that the mother fainted. Karina allegedly tried to escape as her uncle and other relatives attempted to restrain her. They tried to prevent her from running, but she had apparently become very aggressive and started throwing objects, a detective said. Her uncle was hit and injured by a stone, and she bit the family dog, which attacked her while she was being restrained by relatives. What the fuck? Honestly, I don't really know how much I believe in people being possessed or whatever. Most of the time I think it's like a mental illness and then it has the same symptoms as someone being possessed, but it sounds like something was really wrong mentally, whether we call it possession or some kind of mental illness. Someone doesn't just bite a dog. Like, trying to run away, yeah, that's pretty typical for criminals, but biting a dog, I don't know, it just sounds like there's something else going on, especially if they're going down this ritual route. I'm not saying if you do a ritual you're automatically ill mentally, but it just sounds like something was wrong here in the bigger picture. So I'm kind of wondering what that is. And anyway, you can't justify what she did, but I'm just curious to know. Karina admitted that she lured her brother into her bedroom by pretending they were going to play a game and then suffocated him with a pillow, police said. I think I've read too many really dark things, especially since I've focused on pedophiles so much recently, that when it said that she was going to lure him to the bedroom, I was already going into panic mode, thinking she was also a pedophile on top of everything.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Okay, it didn't go in that direction, but it's dark nonetheless. Preliminary examinations indicate the child was dead before his body was brutally maimed and his body parts cannibalized. Well, I don't want to say I'm relieved, because that's not the ideal situation nonetheless, but hopefully there was less pain then. Forensic investigators reportedly found a burned cell phone, a memory card, a pen knife, and a small amount of marijuana in the house. I really hope they don't try and make this about weed, because weed is not the thing that makes you lose your shit and conduct rituals and bite dogs and eat your brother's penis. That's not what happens. We believe the cell phone belongs to the suspect and was deliberately damaged by her to possibly destroy any evidence of online contacts. We're investigating if the child was killed during some kind of devil worshipping ritual. We want to know if the accused had links on social networks to a group of Satanists or black magic practitioners, and if she was encouraged or incited by someone to commit the crime. She will also undergo tests to see if she's under the influence of drugs. Police said the teen's family told them Karina never gave them any problems before. They described her as being quiet and reserved, and she'd always taken care of her brother. See, now, this is also what makes me suspicious, is when people go from 0 to 100, or at least 0 to 100 based on what we know, because she could have been doing shady shit the whole time, but nobody knows about it. But I'm just wondering kind of what the catalyst was here, like why did it just kind of switch, you know? So I'm wondering if some kind of mental illness had always been around, or if it just got worse, or if she took some kind of drug aside from marijuana that might make you act on dark impulses. I don't know. Karina's charged with her brother's murder and with the attempted murder of her uncle. She's being held in isolation in a cell at the women's prison in Sao Paulo and placed on suicide watch. The victim's burial took place Friday morning. The family did not wish to be identified or comment on this tragic case. Another thing about cases like this that is complicated that I often think about, probably too much for my own good really, is just kind of what do you do with this, in the sense of if you are the father or the mother or a relative of the family, how do you manage having one of your own children killing one of the other children, and what are your feelings towards the killer and living child, you know? It's just kind of like, I've seen it go both ways, where they'll defend them at all costs while also condemning what they do, or they'll just cut them off. And I just wonder what it's like to be in that position, because it is very conflicting, right? Because one of your children is gone, and that's tragic, but at the same time, you also don't want to cut off maybe the only child you have left, you know? So I just kind of wonder how they're dealing with that. Surely it's not easy. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Especially let me know if you have any idea about what you think this ritual was, or if this ritual sounds like something you've heard of. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and let's get right into the fan art.